there. It be too late to alter course, mateys.
Hey guys, Connor here with Rock Pirates RC. Just wanted to go over some of the stuff on the SCX10-II Interceptor build. So just kind of give you guys an overall view of it, give you guys some mounting locations for some of you guys that are curious about where certain things mount in this. So we'll just get started with this. So same thing as the Element, everything from Rock Pirates RC. If you already own our servo tray or our battery tray or rock sliders or our hardline bed, all of that you can transfer straight over to the Interceptor. The only thing that will not work is the front and rear towers, obviously. And then also same thing here, cross brace, same thing, that'll bolt straight in. So on this truck, this was just a regular SCX10-II ready to run. Had this truck for probably 4 years now, and just decided to convert this over to our new Interceptor rails. So what we do if you have a truck that's already built, what we recommend doing is taking one side of the C channel off of the truck. So you'll take like this whole side off the truck, and you'll get your Interceptor frame rails, and you can just bolt everything straight into place where the other frame rail was bolted up. So that's one way to do it. That's how we recommend it. That seems to be the easiest way that we've done it. So then up here we'll go to the front. On the SCX10-II, it's going to be opposite of the Element. On the Elements, this panhard mount that's specific to the Interceptor chassis, it'll be flipped out on the Element, but on the SCX10-II, you will have it rotated inwards like so. And then the panhard bar on this one is the same thing, it's mounted to the back side of the panhard bar mount on this. So that's super important. So just make sure when you're putting your panhard mount on that you pay attention to that and just get that in the right location. If you're running the SCX10-II servo tray from us, it will run all the way forward. So here's your forward mounting location, and you can see that screw right there in the first hole in the Interceptor chassis. So it'll bolt straight in there. And then in the back, you can't really see it too much because it's behind the shock, but you'll just bolt it in straight back there. Super straightforward. And then same thing, the SCX10-II battery tray, you'll just bolt it straight in to our servo tray. One thing that you guys I do want to tell you guys about on the Interceptor build, if you have the stock SCX10-II battery tray and servo tray in here, you will not be able to use that on the SCX10-II. You will either need to use a 10-II battery or a servo tray or an Element servo tray to get that done. It will not work with the OEM plastic servo tray that has the whole battery running down the chassis. So you will need one of the battery trays, or sorry, the servo tray and the battery tray. And then same thing, got our Power Wagon rock sliders on here. Like to run Power Wagon sliders and Power Wagon bodies on all of our stuff. Hardline bed right here. Same thing, the hardline bed will bolt in straight over. What we do also on these is we run a lot of the 10-II rear cross members will bolt straight up to the hardline bed, but some of them, I know this used to be the 10-II Jeep Cherokee. That's how this truck originated, and that rear cross member will not work. So what we recommend is just getting these stock OEM servo tray from the Elements and putting those in the back, and the hardline bed will bolt straight to it. So you got your 4 mounting screws right here. So it'll just bolt straight in, and it's just super rigid. Another thing, this frame rails, these are the aluminum Interceptor frame rails with the hard anodized black on them. So when you're installing these frame rails, these are pretty hard to scratch. I was not super easy with this truck when I put the bed in and everything. So just keep in mind, if you're not about scratching your truck, just make sure, especially when you're putting in the hardline bed, that you you need to space this rear end right here. So I don't know, I doubt you can see it, but there are spacers in between the servo tray that we use to mount the hardline bed. I put little spacers in there. So that pushes the frame rails out a little bit so that you can get the bed in there, because normally our shock towers, they're normally bolted on the outside of the frame rails because we use them on the C channels, but now that they're integrated into the frame rails, you will need to space this rear end out just a little bit, put some shims on each side, just so that if you're using the hardline bed, you can slide the hardline bed in there without it trying to pinch the hardline bed in between the towers. And same thing, the X mount, same thing, just like our regular shock towers that bolt in to the C channels, the X mount will bolt straight into the Interceptor rear shock towers. So you still have that option. That'll swap completely over. And then another thing on this truck is just the compression on this thing. When you compress the suspension completely, you can, if you tune it right with your shocks, you can bring the axle almost all the way up and touch the bottom of your frame rails. Right now I have the rear end set up so it doesn't compress completely all the way, but I'll get that tuned in and we'll be able to compress this pretty much all the way down to where the frame rails are going to touch the axle. And then in the front, here, I'll get a better view of that. When it has really good compression in there. I'm running the Curry F9 axles from Vanquish products, and everything just clears super well in here. You don't need to use the Vanquish F9s. You can use the stock axles. They work just as good, but these just look a little fancy if you like fancy stuff. Another thing to take note of, when you install your servo, you're gonna want to space your steering horn so that it clears just like that. You want to clear the bottom of the Interceptor rail, and then you want to clear the panhard mount. So you can either do that by using your own spacers at home, whatever spacers you have laying around, or we have spacer packs too. On this one, I did not need to use anything from the spacer pack, but it will depend on your servo. I know the reef servos are super easy to mount in these servo trays and take minimal shimming on them. So if you guys are looking for kind of a hassle-free option for mounting the servo, the reef servos seem to work awesome for this. And then in the front, also running the Reef's 299 LP winch servo in this. So that, like I said, bolts straight up to our servo tray along with whatever steering servo that you're going to be using. And then you can also use the Reef's internal spool servo that we are using in the Element. So if you guys have any questions on any setup for this, or like what servos we recommend to make things easiest for this build, everything's pretty much straightforward on this truck. Everything swaps completely over from the 10-II. So if you guys have any questions on this truck at all, or mounting locations, or what we recommend as far as tuning setups for your shocks or anything, you guys just feel free to shoot us a message over at Rock Pirates RC on Facebook and Instagram, or rockpiratesrc@gmail.com, and we can help you get set up and get your Interceptor up and running. But yeah, overall, we're just super happy with this truck. Done a lot of testing with it lately, and overall, everything's just been going super well with this truck. We're really happy with it. So other than that, that's about it, guys. Appreciate you guys watching. We'll catch you guys on the next one.